Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Skill Up Show. It's 1 o'clock, it's 1 p.m. on this beautiful Monday afternoon, that time where we come and we do parenting. We talk about parenting, especially how to parent your young children and your preteens. We talk about how you can be that parent that is an advantage to your children because you want to raise children who are wholesome. You want to raise children who can be the best versions of themselves. Dear parents, your child's future is shaped not only by the opportunities that they have or the opportunities that we create for them, they are shaped by what they are given from us, what they are given by us as their parents, the values, the skills, and the habits that we intentionally help these children cultivate today. All of this will be the guiding light into the future that we dream for them and the future that they will come to bless and appreciate us for. So, yes, it goes beyond you just having your children take advantage of every opportunity that comes their way. It goes beyond sending them to the best schools and sending them to the best places where they can get an education. It includes how you teach these children, how you raise these children, how we train these children in the way that they should go. And that is because there is a way that they should go. And that way includes the values that we pass down to them. It includes the skills that we help them build. It includes the habits that we help them cultivate today. And doing this intentionally will help our children indeed cultivate all of these habits. Thank you very much for joining me today. My name is Maribeth Chima, and I am the founder of the Parenting Through Mentorship Academy and PTM Resources. I am also the proud matron of the Mastermind Circle. The Mastermind Circle is a peer mentorship and accountability group that we run for young children and preteens. Yes, it is that place where we help children become the best version of themselves. In the Mastermind Circle, we partner with parents. Yes, we collaborate with parents to help them raise the kind of children that they have always dreamt of. We help them we work with them and their children, right, to become the best versions of themselves. If you have just joined me, or if you are catching the replay of this session right now on Facebook, then I think it's a good time to invite a friend, a loved one, all right, a neighbor, a colleague, anyone who needs to be here because they have young children and preteens. You have 6 year olds, 10 year olds, 12 year olds, 13 year olds. Then you need to invite such people because they will be learning so much from this session and from all that we do at PTM Resources. All right, if you are on YouTube and you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, it's a great time to hit on that subscription button so that you can become a part of our YouTube community. Also, remember to click on the notification button so that you get notified every time we go live. And yes, so that you can also enjoy all of the amazing resources, over 300 and something videos that we have on YouTube, each of them on parenting, blessing you and giving you the tools, the strategies, and all that you need to navigate this parenting journey that we all know is not a walk in the park. If you are with me, then let's jump right into what we have today. Today, we are talking about seven. I wonder why I put seven, but let's go with seven because I just love the number seven. Not necessarily because we have only seven essential skills that our preteens need to learn before they become teenagers. But today we're going to be looking at seven. Maybe I'll give you a bonus, okay, and add one more. But let's look at some essential skills that our children need or our preteens, our young children, our preteens especially, need to lock in before they become teenagers. I always say to parents, the day that you go to war, I mean, the day of war is not the day you prepare for war. You prepare for war before the day of war, right? Yes. All right. It's not when your children become teenagers that you begin to run around trying to make them productive or resourceful. If you want to raise a teenager who is resourceful, you want to raise a teenager who is productive, you want to raise a teenager who is empathetic, you want to raise a teenager who has got a good sense of who they are self-aware. You want to raise a teenager who can direct themselves or lead themselves, then the right time to raise that teenager, or the right time to build all the foundational skills and all the things that need to be in place before your children become teenagers, is before they are teenagers. Between the ages of 6 and 13, there's so much work to be done during that phase, with you targeting their teenage age at the back of your mind. We all know that the first 6 years of a child's life are very crucial times, or is a crucial time in the child's life, right? We know this, especially if you have joined any of our toddler courses. We have one coming up in November. So if you're a parent of a toddler, get set. We're coming again with one of our amazing toddler courses for you. You know that when we have those toddler courses, you don't recover from them, because usually they will put you on your toes, not on your feet, more like, knowing that there is so much work to be done. There is a lot of work to be done during that phase, because that's when we lock in a lot of things during that window of opportunity, when our children are building or our children are learning in the most authentic phase, okay, or authentic time of their life. Basically, they're getting the most authentic kind of learning. But I say to parents, after that toddler phase, now the next phase, when your children become school age children, that next phase between school age and when they become preteens, these are also very important phases, okay, in their lives, because this is the time where you begin to build that teenager with empathy that you want to see, because these are some of the challenges that we have when our children become teenagers. We talk about it every time. We get upset a lot of the times as parents of teenagers. You get upset even as relatives of teenagers, as teachers. This group of children can be overbearing a lot of the times. And I promise you, the reason why we have this with our teenagers is because the time where our teenagers were meant to be taught skills, the time where our teenagers were meant to be taught to be mindful, the time where our teenagers were meant to be taught to be empathetic, we waste that time doing nothing, or we waste that time. We just waste the time because we are not present and we are not intentional. And so we have our teenagers, okay, we have our young children and our preteens just wait through that phase, getting too many people supporting them and doing everything for them. And before you know it, one day you wake up and you already have a teenager in your hand, a teenager that is unskilled, You have your teenager that knows so much about music, that knows so much about pop culture, that knows so much about technology, or at least the usage of all of these things. Your teenager that thinks they are so smart, your teenager that is so conscious about all the fashion, trends and all of that. So you have someone that is overly tuned towards everything that requires money, that requires, attention, that requires the waste of data and all of that. Yet, this teenager has got no skills. It can be really infuriating. It can be really, really frustrating for you as a teenage parent, where you have someone that is, and the way they are these days, they grow so big. So they are there, they're really tall, they are there all looking all very matured. And when it comes to you needing them, they can't be there for you. When it comes to them being resourceful, they can't be there for you. When it comes to them making informed choices, they are not present. When it comes to them taking initiative, you won't find them. When it comes to them doing the right thing, you will not see them. But when it comes to wasting the resources in the home, they are present. When it comes to, carrying fashion and all of the things that can just irk you as a parent, you will find them there. So yes, if you do not skill your teenager right now, or your preteen and young children right now, you are setting yourself up for that time where your teenager will just annoy and irritate you because of their lack of skills. I will say this again. Dear parents, your unskilled teenager will weary you. Your unskilled teenager will get on your last nerve. Your unskilled teenager will be wasteful. Your unskilled teenager will lack empathy because they are going to be all about themselves. They're going to be so self-centered and so self-consumed. If you don't get them to learn skills today, they will need everything that passes around them. They are the most needy set of people. They are the ones who ask for everything. They are the ones who can be very, very, very inconsiderate in their demands. All right. And so the least you can do for this group of children is to skill them enough that they become mindful. You skill them enough that they become empathetic. You skill them enough that they do not become stress factors to you as a parent. All right, so let's look at some of the skills that we need to lock in right now. If you're going to raise your young children and your preteens, who will allow you rest when they become teenagers? If you're going to raise your preteens and your young children, that you will have that amazing parent-child relationship. If you're going to raise that young child or preteen that is going to understand the place of empathy and the place of honor, if you're going to raise that teenager or that preteen that is going to be a part of your support system in your home with their younger siblings, if you're going to raise that young child or preteen that you can go to rest because you've got a teenager at home who is a mentor to their younger sibling, if you are going to raise that preteen or teenager that will be a force of stability to the rest of their younger sibling, then the time to go to work is right now when they are young children or preteens. All right. So when we talk about preteens, some people like to look at preteens as children between 10 and 12, 10, 12, 10 and 13, right? You're 10, 11, 12, year olds are teenagers. But when I talk about preteens, when I talk about preteens, I'm looking at your 8-year-olds. I'm looking at your 8-year-old because what is it? They're almost teenagers, right? So yes, your 8-year-old, your 9-year-olds, okay, for the purpose of this class, look at it that way. And when I refer to your young children, I'm referring to your 6 to 8-year-olds, or if you like, your 6 to 10-year-olds. So yes, I'm covering this group of children. So yes, this applies to your 6-year-old, your 8-year-old, your 7, 10, 11, 12, and your just teens, your 13-year-olds. All right, get them. And if you have a struggling teenager or you have an almost adult that is still struggling with these things, then it's time to go back to the drawing board and help them learn, unlearn, and relearn. And so, yes, this can still be relevant for your children who are older. All right, so the first thing you want to do for your child, the first skill that your child needs to learn is the ability to manage themselves. Yes, self-management. That's where it all starts from. All right, it starts from you being able to manage yourself, because if you are unable to lead yourself, you can't lead other people. All right, you cannot lead other people. If you are unable to lead yourself as a human being, then you cannot be productive, right? Wherever you find yourself, if you're unable to lead yourself, then self-control and discipline becomes a problem. So first things first is to know how to lead themselves. Now, how do you begin to teach your 8-year-olds, your 6, your 10-year-olds how to lead themselves? In the mastermind circle, our peer mentorship and accountability group, all right, this weekend we were picking leaders. So in the mastermind circle, we actually teach children leadership skills. So leadership is a part of what we do in the mastermind circle. And now, because the mastermind circle is a foundation ground where we don't just talk, we practicalize everything. So it's a very hands-on process. The mastermind circle is a very hands-on program. So everything we do in the mastermind circle, we try to bring it as close as possible so that the children practice it in reality. All right. So this weekend was the weekend where the children had to pitch. They had to pitch for why, they should be or shouldn't be. And it was such an amazing experience just watching them, put themselves in that place. And I said to them, all right, apart from, more than pitching and having the best speech, for why you should be, you should have some leadership responsibility. More than that is also how we have watched you lead yourself. Okay, so that's going to, that's going to be a huge part of what we are going to be looking at how you have led yourself, basically. So yes, before you can lead other people, you must at least practice and master the act of leading yourself. Okay, you must be in that space where you are learning, or you are on a journey towards leading yourself. Now, when you can lead yourself, then we can now move to you being, then you can become productive because you can lead yourself. So time management will help our children. When we teach our children time management, we get them into that place where, self-management, we get them into that space where they can begin to take care of themselves and manage themselves. And part of self-management is the ability to manage their time. All right. How do you begin to teach your 6, your 8, your 10-year-olds how to manage their time? You do that by teaching them to create a system. Dear parents, there is nothing that you can do. There is nothing that you can change in your life as a human being. And then this applies also to the children. There is nothing that we can change without creating a system around it. So if there is something in your life that you are struggling with, now what you need to do is stop and think or look at the pattern that you have around that thing today. Now, the pattern is usually the problem, all right? What you do consistently. So if you're not getting results in a particular area, look at the patterns that you have used, right, to apply that thing over and over again. Now, it's time to change that pattern and create another system, all right? So create another system, how to start, what to do, the next thing to do, and how to end. Now, create that system. When you create a system, you have created some sort of a curriculum. So they say if you want to change something, you want to change a thing, pass it through a curriculum. So the system that you create becomes the curriculum, meaning it becomes the way that that thing will be done in order for you to achieve the results or the vision that you have in mind. All right. So whatever it is, do not do them in a vacuum. That's the problem that we have. We do everything in a vacuum. We wing everything. Okay, today you do it like this, tomorrow you do it like that, the next day is like this. So it's in a vacuum. There is no structure around this. There is no system. It is not put in a it's not put in a case, right? It's all over the place. So put it in a system. Create a pattern for it, all right? And then repeat that pattern over and over again. When you do this, then you begin to see results. So for your children, what do? We want to teach them how to create routines. So we want to create routines and put routines in place in our homes, right? We want to prioritize our tasks, and then avoid procrastination. Now, when you teach children routines, you create schedules with them. You teach them about routines, you create schedules, you teach them how to prioritize their tasks, When you do this and then you create a system where they have to repeat this, every time they have to do this over and over again. What you're doing is you are helping them ward against procrastination. Now, if you don't have a system and you don't have the time, and all of that is put to it, they will leave it to chance and they will continue to say, I will do it later. I will do it later. Every time you have to move what you can do right now for later, okay, what you are doing is procrastinating. So if you don't want to raise children who will procrastinate, and I'm saying this because a lot of us were raised and we procrastinate. That is one of the biggest challenges that we have. That's one of the biggest challenge that I had for the longest time, and I am still, a work in progress even in that area. All right, and it's now that I am overcoming it. because I learned how to put this in a system and begin to work with systems rather than wing things. All right. So we do not want our children to struggle with the things that we had to struggle with in our late 20s and 30s and 40s. We want our children to get these things right as early as possible. And if this is your plan, this is your goal, to help them get these things, right as early as possible, then we have to put the systems on ground that will spare our children all of this procrastination and all of that. So, for example, get your children to plan and to track their work, all right? Put timeline. So, recently, we started the new cohort of the Mastermind Circle, okay? And in the month of September, when we start, we dedicate the entire month to teaching these children how to set goals for themselves, create plans for them, those goals, set timelines that will help them achieve those goals, and then, of course, put execution plans on ground. Now, when you teach children this, it may sound as if it's a lot, but I promise you, parents, these children can do it. These are the same children. I mean, my daughter is 9, and their school is going to have Independence Day celebration in a few days. All right. I mean, at the time, it was like 2 weeks. My daughter started following up on independence 2 weeks ago, deciding, creating. I mean, she already started creating plans. What will I wear? What would this? What would that? So you see, your 9-year-old knows how to plan for something that is exciting like that. Your 9-year-old knows how to plan for something that is her own, something that she really wants. All right. And so if they can plan their birthdays, they can plan for these things that they are looking forward to. What does it tell you? It tells you that they can plan for everything. They can plan for everything. So don't think that your children are too young. Get them into that space where they begin to create plans. That's what we do with the children in the Mastermind Circle. They come in when they are 6. 6-year-olds, we even have children who are not 6 years, 5 and 8 months, 9 months, and then they come into the Mastermind Circle. And we introduce them into this activity so that we can help them turn this activity into habits. Introduce them to these things as early as possible so that they begin to practice them gradually and make habits of them. So yes, our children can actually set goals. They can create plans around these goals, and yes, we can look for a way to help them track their progress. That's what we're doing with the kids in the mastermind. They finish creating their goals, we help them, and we have been on this for 3. This is the 3rd week we are on this, still getting them to just put their goals, their plans, their vision on track. I mean, put them, plan it out. So it's not that thing that you do, oh, we're going to set goals. They wake up one day, they cut picture, they stick it to a vision board. Oh, now we have our vision board, we have our plan. No, it goes more than that. It's a mental exercise. And we need to get our children into that space where they begin to understand this exercise through the gradual process of achieving it. Let them go through it, understanding, and you talking about it and working on it together. All right? Working on it together until the children understand this thing. So it's very, very key that they know this. So get them to track it. Okay, let them track their homework. They have to do their homework. Let them set timelines to the homework. Let them create routines around their homework. Let them create routines around their studies. Let them create routines around their after school activities or extracurricular activities. Let them create routines even around their chores, right? All of it. Create routines around these things and put timeline to it. This is how we also teach our children how to be disciplined. Remember, we're talking about self-management. When they have all of these routines and they put timelines to it, what it does is it tells the child when it is time to move from one task to the other. It tells the child when it is time to have that free time. So I say to my children, even your playtime, put it in your routine. I make my children put their playtime in their routine. So the children in the mastermind wake up every day and they create a plan for their day. Yes, we have it. We call it their to-do list. They do it. And we don't just say do a to-do list and go away. It is something that we follow up on and we give them accountability around. Yes, we follow up on it and we give them accountability around this thing. Because no, we did not come and joke. We didn't come to joke. 1 second, please. Give me a second. All right, sorry about that. We need to do a bit of housekeep to make sure everything goes well. All right, so yes, so do all of this. So we get them to do all of this. There's nothing I'm teaching you about, because in the mastermind we work with young children and preteens. So this is me sharing with you some of our process, and our process in the mastermind circle. All right. This group of children are not the ones that you come and you rake for, get upset with, and you shout at when they're not doing the right thing. No, they're not. These are the group of children that you teach and you help them create patterns, and you hold them accountable to see them through those patterns, and you make sure that this is consistent as this is done, because this is a time where they are constructing. This is a time where they are building their own patterns as individuals. And as you do this, you realize that they begin to make these habits, okay? And these are the habits that they will sustain for the rest of their lives. So yes, you want to teach them right now, and you want to teach them to do this the right way. You want to make sure whatever you're teaching your child at this phase is taught excellently, because you are building the foundation for the rest of their lives. So when they learn to do it excellently right now, excellence become a default for them. So when they do that thing, they do it excellently every time they do it. All right, so we're still talking about 7 skills that our children need to learn as young children and preteens before they become teenagers. And we're looking at the first one, self-management. Self-management also includes emotional regulation, helping your children develop strategies to manage their emotions, all right, is very critical. All right. Now, a lot of times we talk about these things. There's nothing here that I'm going to say today that you've never heard before. You've heard, oh, children should have emotional intelligence, children should time management. We've heard these things over and over again. It's not in the theory of it, right? That's why I'm here today. It's not in the theory of it, because we hear these things sometimes is, how do I deliver these things? What exactly do I do that will help this group of children learn these skills? And I'm sharing with you what exactly you can do to help this group of children learn these skills. All right. So one of the ways you want to teach your children emotional regulation is to teach them, right, strategies that they can use to regulate their emotions. One of those strategies is teaching your children how to journal. We take that whole journaling exercise for granted. But what journaling does to you is journaling helps you reflect, because journaling is supposed to be an offshoot of reflection. At the end of the day, right, this is what we do with the children in the mastermind circle. Now they have set goals at the beginning of the day. We have given them some tasks to add to those goals that they have set for themselves. What we expect is at the end of the day that you are able to stop and question yourself, or you're able to look inward and say, was I able to achieve this? Why wasn't I able to achieve this? What happened today? Why am I feeling this way? Why am I feeling happy? Or why am I feeling unhappy? Now you help the child begin to trace their emotions. All right. When they trace their emotions, it means that you are helping the child to be in tune with their feelings and their emotions. All right. Now you don't leave it at that. You have created an expectation where the child now has to sit and take a pen and try to make words out of those emotions. As you are doing that, you are giving the child the words for expressing their emotions. See, you see this part of the world where we are from, right? If you're from Africa like me, I'm streaming from Abuja. If you're from this part of the world, you will realize that we've not been raised to be in tune with our emotions. We've not been raised, to connect with our emotions and to have the words to express our emotions. All right. If you do not intentionally or deliberately teach your child how to be in tune with their emotions and to express them, you will be raising your child for the world that you came from, not for the one that exists right now, where the world is a whole global village and your child is expressing one emotions, and people from China and the UK and US and Japan do not even know what you are expressing, because your emotions and your words are not aligning. All right, you are yelling and screaming, and people are saying you don't have to be upset, and you're like, no, I'm not upset. I'm not upset. No, everything about you says you are upset. So because we were not taught to give words to our emotions or connect our emotions to our expressions, right? At the end of the day, we are acting one thing and we want people to think it's another thing. That's because we do not even know how we feel, or or we do not know how to connect with how we feel per time. It's the reason that you will see somebody angry, fuming, or angry and just throwing, acting up, right? You will see someone that is obviously, from all of their mannerism and their facial expressions and everything, you can tell that this person is unhappy. And you are there asking the person what's going on, and the person is saying, I am fine. All right, but I told you I'm fine. Nothing is wrong with me. I'm just fine. It's a lot of times because those emotions have not been given expressions, and we have been cocooned, or we have been, pushed, and we've been pushed, and what's the word now? Right? Anyway, we have not been given the permission to feel what we feel and express what we feel. We've been boxed, right? We've been boxed for the longest time, to the point that we do not even have a voice. And we are still raising some of our children like that, where they don't have a voice. The only way they know how to express their emotions is to get into a fight. Is either get into a fight or get really very, talk anyhow, right? That's the only way. They do not know. A lot of us do not know how to calmly pass the message across about how we feel per time. All right. So this is going to help your child if we are raising children who will be global citizens, where they will have to know how to express themselves for them to actually exert their autonomy, or for them to be respected. All right. They will have to look for ways to know how to express their emotions, right, respectfully, so that they can gain or get the respect that they desire or that they deserve. All right, so very, very key. All right, so we're going to move into the next one. Okay, let's talk about a third one: personal hygiene and self-care. All right, remember, we're talking about self-management. If we don't teach our children how to take care of themselves, we don't teach our children how to become conscious about their self-care, right, and then lifestyle as early as possible, we will find out that our children will be locked into the same patterns that we've had for the longest time. Some of us will not even exercise to save our lives, right? All of these things are because of the lifestyle that we have, or the way that we were raised, that we were not pointed to some of these things as essential parts of life. Now, if you're going to raise a preteen that will, before they become teenagers, get them to that place where they are conscious of their personal hygiene and their self-care. They are conscious of their lifestyle and all of that, so that when your children get to that phase where they are teenagers, they don't become body conscious, and there's nothing they can do about how they feel. My daughter, is on the plump side, right? And I say to her all the time, you are beautiful the way you are, right? And if there is any time that you feel that you want to look different from this, of course, there is how to do it. We hit the gym, we hit the meals, and all of that. So right now, you are beautiful the way you are, and you are comfortable in that skin, aren't you? If there's any time you want to look slimmer, all right, so all you need to do is go back and we look at the meals. Now, what am I doing? That's what I am saying to her, because I want her to know that it is all in her hands, and it is not in any external whatever. All right, it's all in her hands. Now, but what am I doing as a parent to help her? I am already looking at it, because I can tell. My children love to eat. So I can already tell that, okay, this is it. And so we're coming from the health angle, and we're saying to her, oh no, we need to. There is the way we're supposed to. There's the right height and the right size, right? BMI that we should be in order for us to be healthy, so that we don't put too much pressure on our hearts and all of that. So based on that, we're going to be checking if you are the right, if you're doing the right thing, your height and your weight are right for your heart. So based on that, if it's not, then we got to start working so that we can hit that place that makes us healthy. Now, we're coming from that place. It is about your health. It's not about what the next person thinks, and all of that. So these things are critical. Now, if you can do this, or if we start doing this early with our young children and our preteens, they already understand the why, and they know that they have the power to change all of this the right way. So when they become teenagers, they don't begin to feel They don't allow people make them feel bad about the way they look. They don't allow people make them feel bad about the choices that they've made. They don't, right? They become proof. They have proof, right, against the bullying and all of those kind of shaming, right, that people will throw their way as teenagers. But if you do not equip them now that they are young, and you do not equip them to be self-aware and know how to manage themselves right now that they are young, then by the time they become teenagers, emotions and all of those things are all over the place, hormones raging and all of that, body shaming and all of that will get to them more, will actually get to them if they have not been equipped. Okay, so understanding the importance of cleanliness, of grooming, and of maintaining their personal health is what they need to do right now. They should know, right, how to be responsible for their hygiene, how to be responsible, how to create routines for themselves to take care of themselves, how to, what kind of foods they should be eating. All of this is part of, your child being able to manage themselves, how to take care of themselves. Okay, on Saturday, my daughter and I were here, learning how to take care of her face. I got her the towel, how we moisturize and all of that, just because it is time to do that. By the time they are teenagers, they've already locked these things in. We already have what it is that we wear as a family and what is not acceptable. We already have, as part of our policies in our home, what kind of, we already know who we are, right? And so we know what we wear that portrays who we are for the kind of people that, because we understand our mission and we understand our vision as a family. Now, the children know the kind of people that we have been called to be as a family. And so what you wear and how you look has to portray to the world that this is who you are. You cannot see a BMW. I was saying to the children yesterday during our meeting, you cannot see a BMW and you take the Toyota logo and put on the BMW and you start going around saying my Toyota is not a BMW or my BMW is not a Toyota. Those who know will look and they will say it is not like that. So you have to carry your emblem or carry your logo of what you are. It's not about who is judging or not judging you. That's how we trivialize everything now. Before you talk, I let them be. Don't judge. You're judging everybody. No, it's not about what you put out there that you are, is what we are going to see you as. All right. So if you don't want to be mistaken, if you don't want mistaken identity, then be who you are meant to be for the people who see you. Period. It's not about who is judging, who is not judging. Do you know the heart? Can you see the heart? It's not about that. So the children already know this. We already have conversations about tattoos, not because we want to say you can or you cannot. We're having those conversations right now, and together we are sharing perspective, and they are seeing why they should or why they shouldn't. We are sharing. We are having those conversations now that they are preteens, so that when they become teenagers, there are no issues. These things have been locked in. They've been discussed. So these are the issues. So self-management, very key. That is one skill that your child needs, that is essential. And these are some of the things that you can use to get that locked in right now. The next one is home management. All right, home management. Our children, your child, your young children and your preteens must know how to manage the space where they live, wherever it is. Part of the skills that they need here is adaptability. Now, you want to raise your children right from your home, right, to know and to learn how to manage the space where they are in. It starts with their room. Let your children do this. In the mastermind, we get the children to actually, as part of their tool that they have, okay, is home management. So sometimes they are told to clean their closets and let us see what work they've been able to do. All right, we say to the children, when you wake up in the morning, until your bed is made, you are still asleep. So you get up in the morning and make your bed. The moment your bed is made, then you are awake. And hey, it does a huge one for them, because When you make up your bed, you make your bed, you can turn and look at the bed. That's a first achievement for the day. So you are raising children that you want to be achievers. You're raising children that you want to be champions. You're raising children that you want them to win at what they do. You need to create a system where your children are constantly achieving, constantly winning, and constantly seeing the result of what they've done. And as simple as just making your bed, do you know that that is an achievement and that is a result of something that you've done? So let's start there with our young children. Let them wake up in the morning and make their bed. It is part of it. All right. So chores and responsibilities. Get your children to know how to manage their household tasks. Okay, like cleaning, cooking. Why is your young child and preteen not learning to cook? Do you know how much learning goes on in the kitchen with your child just trying to cook a simple meal like making noodles or making chips or something like that? Do you know the executive functioning, like higher functioning skills that go in there? Your children will learn to solve problems right there while they are trying to find out, what knife to use, right? What knife to use, what's the best knife to use, how to navigate using that knife, okay? How much quantity of oil should they put in the pan? How much salt should go in there? So your children are taking initiative. Your children are making decisions. Your children are solving problems. Your children are directing themselves. The children are, do you understand? The children are using their working memory. How did I do it the other time? What was the outcome? The last time I did it, there was too much salt. What do I need to do right now so that I will not have that that amount of salt? Your child is thinking critically. All right, critical thinking is going in there. So all of these things going in the executive functioning skill building, just because you give your child the opportunity to be in the kitchen to navigate that space. It starts with you modeling and having them with you. Eventually, it moves from you stepping back and allowing them direct themselves and build their confidence in that space. See, parents, your child's self-esteem is in your hand, and it is in the achievements and the things that they are able to do. You are what you are capable of now. Isn't that who we are? We are what we are capable of. The reason that you strut in that your office, the reason you strut around as the team lead in your office without feeling, what do you call it? Not enough, without, second guessing yourself. The reason you strut in that office as the lead partner, or you strut in that office as the head of your team without second guessing yourself, without people whispering and laughing and you thinking they're laughing at you, is because of what you know you are capable of. It's because of what you know that you can do. It's because of the results that you have. All right. So when you have results, when you are passing and your junior colleagues are laughing, you know they're not laughing at you, because you know the results that you deliver. But when you know that you don't know anything, when you know that, in fact, it is the junior colleague that actually, got that last project, that everybody credited to you, you know that it is not you. You know it's the junior colleague that did it. When they are laughing as you are going, everything within you is shaking. You know they're laughing. He has told people that you don't know anything. It's you. So the unskilled is never restful. So you will not rest. You're right. You will not rest. So you as a parent, if you don't skill your children, you won't rest. They won't rest. Because even you, when they get a new job, you will be afraid. I hope you're not going to goof though. I hope you're not going to mess himself up though. That's why you chase them all over the place, calling them 10 times a day. Because you know that the person that you are put there, you are not confident about what that person can do on their own. So parents, relax. Let's do what we need to do. So our children need to learn home management before they become teenagers. Yes, teach them now because they are willing to learn right now. Teach them now because you still have their ears and their hearts. They're not going to fight you. Teach them when they are 6 and when they are 7. Teach them when they are 8 and when they are 10. Send them to the kitchen when they are 6. Send them to the kitchen when they are 7. Even when they are frowning or they don't want to see, this is the time where you should make sure that, okay, you don't like it, but it's a part of it. It's a life skill. We got to do what we have to do. At 7, they may frown, but they will do it. As they do it over and over again, it becomes a part of them. I tell you, it is not the same result you will get when you're trying to get your 17-year-old to do something that they don't want to do or they don't enjoy doing. So this is the time to get your children to learn home management skill before they become teenagers. Very critical. All right? For example, a preteen can learn how to prepare simple meals for themselves and for their family. You like to eat noodles. You like to eat chips. You like, why are you not making it for them yourself, right? Some of us will be like, oh, the kitchen is so unsafe. No, it is a world where we have to teach our children how to do dangerous things in safe ways. If you're going to continue to shield your children from doing dangerous things because the world is dangerous, a time will come that you will not be there, and the child will have to face that danger, whether or not they like it. Wouldn't it have been better that you taught them how to face danger, whether you are there or you're not there, than for you to leave them without that skill and they end up facing the danger anyway, and you're not there to save them? Abi, you're going to be with them forever. Okay, that is actually entitlement. If you think for any reason or you pray for any reason that you always be there for your children, it's entitlement. Because if you actually believe in the God that I believe in, then you will know that it is that is God's call. It's not your call. So we are all living on borrowed time. Why wouldn't you use the time that you have to equip your children as much as you can, so that whether or not God decides that you will live 120, or God decides, my friend, my dear, my darling, you have done well, come and rest. At least you have done your part with the borrowed time that you have. Faith and works go together. So yes, we're praying for to live till 100, but right now let's work like we have only today. After all, the Lord's Prayer says, give us this day our daily bread. It's not give us these days, is this day. All right, so let's make the best of today. It is how God even sees us make the best of today, that he sees and he says, okay, you know, this one has earned today. Maybe you should have tomorrow and another and another. I don't know that one. That's off the record anyway. So teach your children how to organize themselves. Organization skills, very, very key. All right, it starts with them coming back from school. Come back from school, take your bag, a place for a thing and a thing for a place. They may not get it in 1 day, in 1 year, in 2 years, in 4 years. All right, but do not relent. Continue. A place for a thing for a place. Let our children learn that everything has got a place, and let them put the things where they are supposed to be. When you're doing that, you are already teaching them how to organize themselves and organize them space. It's as early as when a child goes into a Montessori class, the child is taught how to organize themselves, because Maria Montessori believes that children have the ability to learn from other people and from their environment. So the younger children can be taught by the older children in their environment. And so when children work and they are allowed to interact with their environment, we should teach them how to take care of that environment where they interact in. So they come, they bring out their tools, they use the tools. When they are done, they return the tools, not just anyhow. They return the tools the way the tools should be, the way they took the tools in the first place. A lot of us, because we leave these skills, we don't teach our children. That's how our children do not know how to begin a task and finish the task. They start somewhere, they dump it, and they walk away, because they were not passed through the system where they use and they return. Where they use and they return. That is the reason your child will serve you a meal at 2. That plate will be there till 6, because the child has not been taught to take and to return. Okay? Until we start doing this, if you don't teach this to them at young children and preteens, you will have your 25-year-old who does not know how to return things. You will have your 25-year-old who will make a mess of a whole office appliance simply because they do not know the simple skill of using and returning things after they've been used. So teach our children, let's teach them organization skills. You go to the workplace and then you go into some people's office. So you will enter the office, you will think it is one garage, or you think it is one kitchen in someone's house. It's the way you do one thing that you will do everything. So if you don't learn organization skills, you don't teach your children to be organized. Their rooms are disorganized, their stuff are disorganized. Don't worry, they will go to the office and disgrace you. And you know how it is when you don't raise your children up. You raise your children where they will go out there and they will sell you out, because they will make someone say your parents did not raise you well. That's not the child's report card. That's actually your report card as a parent. So let's get this, okay? Let's teach our children to keep their personal space, the bathroom, the study, tidy and organized. We model this one, and then we create expectations for them to do it, and we follow through, okay? they can actually develop a habit from this if we teach them how to do these things from an early age. Why is your 4-year-old not learning how to fold clothes? Some of us, I had someone who worked with me for 3 years, okay, and I say all the time, this is someone that is in their mid-20s. I say all the time, if there's one thing she doesn't know how to do, is to fold clothes. Oh my goodness, she couldn't fold a thing to save her life. All right, so, and these are skills that you learn in a Montessori class as early as when you are 3 and 4. So you can get this end to end, simple techniques that we can use to help children develop basic skills that they would use for the rest of their lives. But because we neglect them and because we are not intentional, they grow without having these skills, and then it shows in everything that they do. All right, teach them how to organize themselves, teach them how to support their siblings. I said it. If you can do this, if we can do this for our young children and our preteens, what we are doing is we are also saving ourselves, because what it means is that you do not have to micromanage and you do not have to continuously teach everyone. Your children become a support system for you because now they can mentor their younger siblings. So yes, mentorship should be something that you practice even in your home, having your older children mentor their younger siblings, so their younger siblings can see them and the older siblings become a model to your younger siblings. So if you do not, younger children, if you don't do this for your older children, or you don't do this for your children, what you're doing is you are going to make a mess of not just one child, but of many other children, and perhaps of generations. Because what our children don't learn, they will take and they will pass them to their own children. And so these patterns will continue. And the thing you are doing in your simple space today could be you making a mess of generations to come. And it's the same thing, the opposite. The things that you're doing right today could be you leaving a legacy, not just for your children, but for generations to come. Parents, let's think legacy. All right. So, yes, we're still talking about what we should teach our children today so that they can be in everything that they do. Before they become teenagers, they can be equipped to be productive and resourceful teenagers. The next one is academic excellence. All right. So you don't just say, I want good grades. Good grades is not by lesson teacher. Oh, yes, so you can get the grades right now so that you can be shining and you can carry medals and you can put them all over your house and call yourself, the mother or the father of the child that is doing well. But I promise you, we do not want to raise children who have high grades and we cannot see a reflection of those grades in their lives. So we are not raising children so that we can brag with them. We're not raising them for bragging rights. We are raising them so that they can be transformed and they can be the best version of themselves and become wholesome human beings. So if you are more carried away by the results that they bring home and not the reflection of those results in their lives, then you're not being true to yourself as a parent. So we want to raise children who are excellent in everything that they do. Now, through their academics, our children can learn so much. They can develop effective study skills when we get them to learn how to do this. Now, by doing that, our children will build skills like resilience. They will build skills like problem solving. They will know how to solve problems. They will know how to be resilient. They will know how to see things through. They will know how to think critically. These are the gains of learning and studying in school, so that they can build these other extra skills that come with it. So when your child stays there and the math is tough and he doesn't give up, it is not just about math and the answer. It's about your child staying there and doing something until he sees that task through. It is that resilience that the child will use tomorrow when he has a building project that he needs to finish within a period of time. Because he learned resilience in the classroom in his math class, he's able to take that resilience to that project. It is the same thing. It's the reason your child will build a structure that will stand the taste of time, weather, and everything. Because while he was doing it, he paid attention to the last details because he is a detailed person, because he learned early critical thinking and he learned excellence in everything that he does. You did not raise a child that is constantly cutting corners, all right? Constantly cutting corners, not wanting to study, and then he waits to 2 days or 3 days or one day before exams, and he begins to pack everything in, pack everything in. It is the same way he would do with that project many years from now. When the time will come, a project will be given for 3 years. He will not do the project for one day because he is procrastinating. We will start next week, we will start next month, and then when we wait, Abiz Wike comes into FCT, all right, at that time with his project. Now he has only 2 months, and then he begins to pack in everything in 2 months, and then he will build a structure or build something that after 6 months people will die in because he did not do the right thing. God will ask you, and God will ask that child. So if we don't raise children who know how to do things excellently and properly, we will be raising people who will make a mess and will destroy lives because everything is done in the last minute. So teach our children this. Study skills. Let them have routines. Let them create habits, right? Study habits, routines, let them learn to take notes. I tell my children, all right, as my coach told me, think on paper, think on paper, think on paper. When you want to do anything, think about it, think on paper. A lot of our children do not even know how to think. Teach your children how to set academic goals and how to track their progress. That's what we do with the children in the mastermind circle. We teach them how to set goals and how to track their goals. Teach them how to think critically so that they can solve problems. And all of these things can be done by developing all of these skills that we're talking about. Analyze issues with your children. Listen to their perspective. As you teach them to analyze issues, this is you teaching your children how to think critically. Stop asking your children questions that they just give you monotonous answers. Ask your children questions that will get them thinking, okay? And they are analyzing. Teach your children. Help them become analytical. Let them take a situation and analyze it, have those conversations. Don't do Bible study and you end up becoming a preacher every day. Let your children share their perspective. Have conversations. Read books with your children and let them share their perspective as you read. When you do this, you're giving your children a voice. You're teaching them that their perspective is valid, and you're teaching them how to analyze issues critically. All right. The next one is spiritual intelligence. Who is your God? Let your child see your God through the life that you live. What are your ethics as a family? What are your ideologies on issues? What are your convictions? If you are not able to pass your convictions to your children, you have not told your children what life is. You have not allowed your children see life through your eyes first, and you have not passed down to your children a legacy of beliefs and convictions. So yes, parents, it is not enough that you leave children with money. I was listening to someone the other day, and the person said, it is so annoying and so frustrating how, as parents, when parents die, they have all the riches that they have amassed. So they hand their children currencies, they hand their children money, they hand their children all of that. Meanwhile, the skills that they have, that one they've passed down to the boy that assists them in their jobs, right? That's what they've passed down. I think it was Coach Wendy. They've passed down all of that one to the people, the colleagues and the subordinates, the people that you do those projects with. You have taught them all the skills, all the things that you know that has made you this powerful person. You pass down all of that. All right. Some of us have businesses that our children know nothing about. We think our children are jabotas. They will sit down at home. You will go to the shop. You will go to the business. You will do everything. Your children do not know the nitty-gritty of it. Meanwhile, you have people who are about their age who work with you tirelessly. So at the end of the day, you leave your children with a legacy of currency that will finish. It's a matter of time. And then you leave this person with a legacy of your convictions, with a legacy of your process. You leave them. You have created a prodigy of other people. Meanwhile, your child just has currency that will go. All right. So we need to start rethinking this thing. So your spiritual intelligence, very key. Help your children to develop empathy and compassion. Let them understand how other people feel in the things that they do. Teach them to connect to your faith. All right. Help them know God and help them find God. All right. Point your children to what they do that will help them know and find God. Okay. Nurture their connection with spiritual beliefs, right? Such as regular participation in family prayers, devotion, sharing of perspectives, perspective. Teach your children how to have quiet time in the presence of God. Teach your children. If you don't do this right now, when they become teenagers, they will be rolling their eyes. When they become teenagers, they just sit down there, and while you are talking, I promise you, they are thinking of some music scene. They're thinking of rubbish. In fact, if you leave them, they will be playing with their phones while you are there trying to have a devotion. So this is the time to teach them in a way that is convincing, that they do and they enjoy at this point where they still have your ears. This is the time to model and to take them along with you. This is the time to show them the result of serving your God. When you do this, you will not struggle when they become teenagers. All right, the next one is leisure reading. You need to. All of these things I'm sharing with you are seven out of our eight dimensions of learning, and this is what our curriculum in the Mastermind Circle is based on. We've built our curriculum, under these dimensions of education, and based on this dimension is what we are teaching our children with all the philosophies and educational philosophies, right, and life philosophies, and of course principles, right? So our curriculum is based on the dimensions are 8 dimensions of education, educational philosophies, especially that of Montessori, Charlotte Mason, and the Reggio Emilia, and then of course this is backed with a lot of spiritual principles, especially biblical principles and general spiritual principles that apply to whatever religion you belong to. So we have a robust curriculum in the Mastermind Circle. That's why I can say to you for free. All right. So leisure reading, help your children explore different genres of books. Okay. Let them know how to comprehend. Teach them comprehension and analysis by doing those book reviews. In the Mastermind, we do book reviews every month. The children read books, all right, and the reviews, we don't review, the children review the books themselves. We sit down there and have them share their perspective on the books, and we talk about it. Awesome practice that we have. And then leadership skills. Teach your children leadership. Okay, teach them how to take initiative. Teach them public speaking skills. Let that be a part of your home process, that your children have. You create a system where your children can actually learn to take initiative. They can actually learn public speaking skills. All right, we do that in the Mastermind Circle. We have them do the presentations. We have them take leadership roles in the Mastermind Circle. We have them collaborate, and do teamwork in the Mastermind Circle. We do all of these things. And then the last one I'm going to be talking about today is financial skills. All right, teach your children financial skills. Very key. Teach your preteens and your young children financial skills. When they know this, by the time they become teenagers, they are resourceful and productive. I have a son who has done business for 5 years. He started running a juice company when he was 9 years old, and he's run that company for 5 years till this day. All right, now he doesn't have millions yet, okay, even though he can have. All right, he does, and it's not just about the money. He's making money. He's at the point where on his own he has reached the point, and he has said, "Mommy, please, can I get a financial coach?" He can say to me, "Can I get a financial coach now?" Because he is ready to start investing. And that's because of the knowledge that he has gathered over the years from learning from that business and all of the platforms that we have exposed him to over the years. Now, I am not saying you need to invest. No, I didn't have to say that. I don't have to say that. Okay, I am not even I don't know anything. I don't know enough about investment to teach a child per se, but he has learned to the point that he understands, and he now wants that. And he's telling me to call someone and book an appointment for him because he wants to understand what kind of investment he can start doing. He knows a lot about this. The other day, he picked a book by Warren Buffett and he was reading. And while he was reading, he just said, "Mommy, you know something? I need to come back to this book later because there are a lot of terminology that I don't understand yet. I need to have the session with Mrs. Anu first before I come back and read this book. I think when I'm done with that, I'll be able to understand this book more." And then every week he's telling me, when am I meeting the coach? Because he's in that space right now. All right. So if we don't get our children to start having the right conversation, he can talk about having investment right now because he can look at his bank account and he can see that he can actually invest right now. Right now, these are not the things that you drive. It's not the money that uncle gave you, auntie gave you, brother gave you, this one gave you. When somebody comes, you see them hovering around. One uncle is around, they will not go and play football anymore. They will hover around because they don't want to miss the opportunity to be dashed. It's not, I mean, nothing is wrong with all of that. I mean, who is gifting and all of that? There's nothing wrong with it. But we need our children to get to that place where they understand the place of value and how value translates to you solving problems and creating solutions. And when you do that, you are paid. Our son was out the other day at a church conference for youth, I mean, young children, and he was a speaker teaching the children about financial kidpreneurship and all of that. He can only do that. I did not ask for him to go there. Someone, his mentor, reached out and asked if he could be available for that, simply because he has started a journey that he started early enough. Do you understand? So yes, it's not when they become teenagers that they start these things. It's now. Okay. And a great way to do this is bring your children to us in the mastermind circle. Let us walk this journey and build the foundation as early as possible. You are working, we are working, the children are moving. In the mastermind circle, we have zero shaming policy. So everything we do, nothing is forced in the mastermind circle. The children are led, hand holding step by step. We have children who get it after a whole year. We have children who gradually get to the point after a year. Some of them after 2 years, they get it and they get it well. It's not about their parents. They get it and they get it well. My children call me in the mastermind circle and they say, Coach Maribeth, I'm ready to finish the book. Not because mommy said, it's not pushing. Coach Maribeth, I'm ready to finish the book. Coach Maribeth, I started writing. The children call me and say, Coach Maribeth, I want to start this, because it's a process. These are children, and when they come in, they're probably they're there like every other person. Okay, I will do the task, I will send a report. But with time, they begin to get it, because it's a foundation ground where we are building them to know and to understand their why. And it is that why that help them begin to move on the spectrum of motivation, from zero motivation, or from little motivation, or from external motivation. Gradually, they begin to go on that spectrum. See, we have children who are 12 and 13. Every single one of my 13-year-old in the mastermind is in a place where their motivation is so high that they're already taking initiative, directing themselves, and all of that. And we actually graduate them when they turn 14. At 14, we send them off from the mastermind circle, because the mastermind circle is not where we want to keep the children. For the longest time, we want to build your young children and your preteens and help them build that solid foundation. After that, they can go to teenage programs where they can go and unleash, and they can go and be resourceful and productive. But the foundation is key, and that's what we want to dedicate ourselves and our time to helping the children build. So you have it, 7 things that you need to do. I'll give you the 8th one. Help your children to hone their talents and their skills. Whatever talent or whatever gift you see that your child has got, even if it's a simple interest or it's just something that your child does by the way, and you can see that they do it nicely, provide resources around. Simple resources, paper here, this one there, simple things here and there. Create them first of all, and then after that, right, you get them to the pace where they begin to practice, and then the next stage is get them coaches and get them into mentorship programs and get people who will mentor your children, and then from there, before you know it, your child is moving. And one day the child is set to launch, because they've gone through that phase. I mean, those 3 phases of, the 3 phases of purpose, where they have learned, where they have waited, or they have served, so there's a there's the learning phase, there is the learning phase, there is the waiting phase, where you are serving, you are doing things behind the scene that you're not ready to put out there yet. A lot of our children are here. They're doing a lot of things, behind the scene they're not ready to put out there. And then one day you just realize they are ready to launch. My son started writing the book that he's written 5,000 words, and he's written 5,000 words, and he's just in chapter 3 of the book. And that book is supposed to be a 10-chapter book. 5,000 words over, and he's just in chapter 3. I write an entire book and it's 10,000 words, the entire book. He's just in chapter 3 and he's written 5,000 words. And I tell you, I have not read one word out of that book. I didn't even know he was writing till he was somewhere around chapter 2, because I don't have to be, I'm not a part, like he has nothing, he has zero to do with any of us. He's writing because he loves to write. He enjoys writing, and he can actually create something from his imagination and put it together. There is no time for publishing. There is no publication. Nobody's talking publication yet. Nobody's talking launch. Nobody's talking nothing. He's just enjoying writing the book. Like he writes a whole chapter and then he goes and he raises the entire chapter and he starts again and he says, you know, something I wasn't feeling it. The inspiration is not there. And I'm saying, how is your book going? And he's like, I can't think right now. Inspiration is not there. All right, so let me just settle into school. Maybe after the first 2-3 weeks in school, I'll be in that space where I can keep writing. He's going through a process, an authentic one. It's not about write a book and put it out there so that people know that he is going through a process. He's having fun. He's enjoying it. Who knows? He can publish that book in 1 year, 6 months, 2 months, 1 year, 3 years, 4 years, whenever he is ready. But he's doing something for him and he's loving and he's enjoying it. And that's what we're talking about. Okay, these are the kind of children that we're raising in the mastermind circle, and you want your child to be a part of this amazing, amazing transformational circle. If you'd like to join us in the mastermind circle, it's simple. All you need to do is register your child. The circle, we've started the new cohorts, but we are still building and setting goals and doing all of that. So we are still enrolling. Okay, we still have, some spots and we're still enrolling. For now, very soon we will stop registration for the year. And if you want to join us, you have to wait till next year. But for now, we're still enrolling and you can still get your child on board. And it costs less than 6,000 naira in a month to be in the mastermind circle. For an entire year, your child is working with us for just 70,000 naira only for the whole year. That is what you pay lesson teachers for 1 month. And I promise you, we are not on the same lane teaching the same thing. We are building children for life. We're not just teaching academic skills. In fact, we will so equip your child in the mastermind that your child will go to school and do wonders. I am not bragging. I am telling you the way it is. Thank you for joining me today. I've just had an exciting time sharing with you. If you got value from this session, let us know in the comment section. You have a friend who should listen to this, okay? Why don't you share the link with them so that they can also catch a replay? All right, share, tag them on Facebook so that they can also catch the replay. If you want your child to join us, if you have children between 6 and 13, they should actually join us. All right, let's work together and help you build a solid foundation. And yes, you have access to us. You have access to me. I am the matron of the mastermind circle. So you have access to me in those 1 year, meaning we can do magic together for your child or with your child. All right. So come join the family. It's a beautiful family indeed. Thank you very much. So you have the information on the screen. You can screen grab and use that to make payments. Okay. If you have other inquiries, call us. Check also in the comment section and in the description on YouTube, and you will see all the details that you need and frequently asked questions about the mastermind circle. All right. Just reach out to us or use this and thank you for joining me today. Have a fantastic rest of the day and a blessed week ahead. Let me invite you to also join us for our short 20 to 30 minutes session at 7 p.m. every day from Monday to Friday, where we come and answer one question that parents ask about how they can support their preteens and their young children effectively. So if you're joining me today, I'll see you at 7 p.m. this evening in the same platform on Facebook and on YouTube. Thank you again. Thank you, Ephraim. Thank you, Dim. Peace. How are you? Thank you, Agora, Sarah. Thank you, everyone who has joined us today and who will be catching the replay. Bye for now. Bye.